A massive thank you to Gersa here, but definitely not Sean, David, Gamerzone, and Sharpie for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video, where today we return with round 16 of Season 4 of the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back for the Italian Grand Prix, the Temple of Speed. Of course, yes, it's Monza time. Quite looking forward to this one. We've had quite an up and down history around the Italian GP circuit on F1 22, but if you missed out on Monday's video even from this series, of course we went back to Zandvoort. Would highly recommend going back and checking out a fantastic race. You know, an old rival decided he'd rear his, well, not quite ugly head, but you know what I mean. Gave us a very, very good battle throughout the entirety of the GP, and of course there will be spoilers in just a moment as well. But of course, I just want to say as well, you know, a massive thank you to all of you for the support as we head into 2023. You know, F1 still at the moment, it's very, very quiet, as you would expect. You know, just off-season things like that. So, you know, we're just slowly ticking our way through January. So, you know, if you are watching, you haven't clicked that big red button, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated if you would do so down below as well. But championship-wise, the gap has come down between myself and George Russell. 21 points left in it as we head towards Monza this weekend. Of course, normally is the final European event of the year, but we are going to be heading back to Portugal late on in the campaign. Only 7 races, to go of the year, so it is still wide open between myself and George. Let's get into it though. Italian GP, it's going to be high speed, high octane, and fingers crossed our replay cameras work as well. Right, well here we are then, back at the Temple of Speed once more. Always love coming back to this Monza circuit, but yeah, whoa. Not a fan of it when you get a big lockup like that down at turn 1. Nice FPS as well, apparently, on F1 22. Oh, we're going to get a red score there. That's not quite the way I wanted to start this weekend. But yeah, like I said, you know, Monza has been up and down for us on this game, so we'll wait and see how we get on this weekend. Of course, we've got a lot of the Italian GP coming up with the F2 career mode here as well tomorrow. So yeah, you guys definitely don't want to miss that either, as that is a lot of front locking. I'm running normal brake pressure, so I've got no idea what that's about. I mean, we're not really in desperate need of R&D points anymore as we round our way through the final corner. It is still going to be the green score. Yeah, I mean, we just need to try and work out what's going on with those front brakes. Like I said, I'm having to run 95% because there is one brake upgrade right towards the end. That, yeah, makes things a bit weird. There you go, that's a bit better. Just took me a little second to get back in. Around the final corner then. Will this be enough to get us the purple score? I don't quite think it will be. Oh, there we go, perfect. Purple score. There we go, panic averted. Jumping in then to our fuel target run, fuel management. I mean, the delta should be pretty good. We're running very, very low wings this weekend. Just got to lift and coast at the right places. It's quite weird as well, of course, when these cars are as quick as they are now on F1 22. Monza becomes a very, very precision-based circuit. It almost feels like a street circuit, the way you've got to try and launch it between the curbing. But out of the final corner, up towards the start-finish line, we'll give it a bit of a blend as we head up to the flag, but it is only going to be a green score there. I think purple is near impossible in that one. Let's get into qualifying though. Hopefully it's going to be George versus myself. Jumping straight into Q3 then, and a bit like Baku, if you guys remember all the way back to Azerbaijan, of course that circuit as well, very, very high speed, and I had forgot just how much this car can struggle right towards the top end there. The likes of Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren are looking very, very competitive this weekend, and we always know how good Alpine can be on, well, pretty much any circuit now, of course, in this series. So yeah, I mean, in the perfect world we'll get down into the 17s, but with a line like that through the first chicane, that's not going to do me any favours whatsoever. Well, George Russell had set the benchmark on an 18.4 there, but Checo Perez straight down into the 17.9s. We did see Leclerc on a 17.4 in Q2, so we'll wait and see whether he's able to get anywhere near that once more. As checking the car through the final corner then. It seems mad that you're braking pretty much at the 50-metre board. You just flick this thing in and it will stick. But up towards the line then, 17.2. Puts us quicker than George Russell. He, though, for whatever reason, still can't seem to qualify in this series, but we're P3 for now. Hopefully we can go quicker. I don't know what's going on with this series at the moment, but the AI seems to be ruining Q3s because they all go out for a run early, and then don't seem to come out again later on in the session. Maybe it's a bit of a weird bug, or maybe it's just how competitive F122 is nowadays, that they've all only got one set ready for Q3. But it will be nice to see them doing laps right at the end. Lando Norris currently fastest on a 17.3. Can we improve on our personal best? Through the Lesmos, but apart from that, this lap's actually been one of the best ones I've done on F122. Purple in the middle sector. We just need to try and hold time through the final couple of turns, and we could put a lot of cars between myself and George Russell there. Forgot to downshift one extra time. That is going to compromise us on the exit up to the line. 6/10 up. That's a mega lap. P5 I will absolutely have around Monza. We have not had the pace all weekend. A 17.6 there I would absolutely take. Monza is often quite a weird qualifying session inside F122, but it is Lando Norris who goes fastest this weekend. Of course, 3-time winner already this season. Will he make it 4 this weekend? Charles Leclerc P2 ahead of Pourchaire and Bottas. We line up P5 there, 3 places ahead of George Russell. It's going to be all about the slipstream today, though, here. Let's get into it. Italian Grand Prix time.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Théo Pourchaire, Bottas, Mr. Monaco, and Perez. Ocon, Russell, Latifi, and Guan Yu Zhou. Ricciardo, Gasly, Daniel Ticktum, and Schwartzman. Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Felipe Drugovich, and Jehan Daruvala. Magnussen, Stroll, Mick Schumacher, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching out for as they head into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Right, well, here we are then, on the grid, Italian GP, round 16 of 22 of this My Team career mode, and interesting. Apparently today we can't go for the aggressive strategy. Not convinced that's the case. There we go. It reckons it's 1.3 seconds slower, but I think it's absolutely necessary. Even if the soft compound tyres can't go as far as we'd originally like, then we can just go on to hards anyway later on. But I think, yeah, Monza, a lot of it's about the slipstream, but it would be quite nice to have that little bit of extra grip early on in the GP. But George Russell starting behind and the opposite side of the circuit from myself this weekend. I'm trying to remember Baku. I've got bad memories from Baku when we were starting in similar places. I really hope that doesn't happen today. We've had 4 retirements this year. Russell, just the 1. However, every race we've finished this season, we have been on the podium. I didn't actually realise it until I looked through the stats after last weekend. Every race we've finished, it's been first, second or third. I've probably jinxed myself by saying that. Also just found it fascinating how the team wanted us to start on mediums and every other car around us is on softs anyway, so maybe the team are just trying to favour George Russell at the moment. But as we head out of the final corner then, got to just make sure we get some temperature into these tyres. A couple of burnouts, although again, don't want to put too much wear through the rears. They are going to have to go a little way into the Italian GP here today. But the Temple of Speed, well, we've got our old rival and last weekend's nemesis Valtteri Bottas starting alongside us. Well, we're going to be locked into battle with him once more today. Let's wait and see then as the Williams round out the grid here at Monza. It can be a turning point in Formula 1 seasons, maybe today. Ready on the grid though for the Italian Grand Prix, waiting on those 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go there, and Bottas gets away phenomenally as we head down in towards the first corner. We've got to try and cover off George Russell. That's the big one, as Ocon and Sergio Perez will be able to slip by, but heading down in towards the first turn. Oh, big contact with Ocon there. Somehow lucky that we hit him in the right point in his rear diffuser, that we didn't get any damage from that. But as we head out the first couple of turns, George Russell then still all over my gearbox. He's the only one then in the top runners that started this race on the mediums. That's very, very interesting to see, as it looks like Charles Leclerc leads the way in his Ferrari. There, of course, I'm sure the Tifosi, as always, would love to see a home GP win this weekend. Haven't seen a Ferrari win so far this year. George Russell thinks about sending it through the first Lesmo. They were really struggling for tyre temperature, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Nicholas Latifi in the Merc there. Of course, the man that replaced him down at Mercedes there, and looks like Latifi has sent it right around the outside through the second Lesmo, so not ideal then as we head down in towards Ascari for the first time. Now we've got the tyres up to temperature, now we've got the car working as we'd want it to be, but already Russell then stuck behind Latifi, stuck now potentially in a DRS train further back, as there goes Lando Norris to the inside of Charles Leclerc through the final corner. I think Charles Leclerc's hung on though, yes he has. Lando Norris trying everything, he's again going to come back at the Ferrari as we head back down in towards turn 1 there. Charles Leclerc did lead over the start-finish line, but this works wonders for us. And look at all these cars fanning out in towards the first turn here, late on the brakes, in towards the first corner. We're behind the other Alpine here as Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris still haven't quite settled who's going to take the lead there, but Norris has done it. Back through into the lead here at Monza. Looks like Russell as well has pulled off the move on Latifi behind us, so Russell now will be in hot pursuit once again. The 2.6 seconds the gap already up to. He needs to really get and put the throttle down, trying to apply some pressure then to Esteban Ocon as we head onto lap 3 then. Deep late on the brakes around the outside. No, Ocon is actually going to have a look for a run on Sergio Perez there. Again, contact between myself and the Frenchman. That felt like a bit more of a touring car style move, and I'll be honest, if it was most other drivers on this grid, I'd probably give the place back. Not quite happy with it. But it is Esteban Ocon, so I'm going to take it there as Checo now won't have the DRS either from his teammate Teo Porcher further up the road, so we might be able to get 2 for the price of 1 there as Sergio Perez really tries to cut me off. We'll sweep back round though to the racing line, ready for the next corner, and we will be up then back to P5 of this GP, but now we're 1.1 behind that Red Bull. We're going to be under pressure from Checo again there as Charles Leclerc's just going backwards. We've got yellow flags out as well. Someone's got issues in this Grand Prix. Can't quite see who that is. Might be all sorted now. No, I think it's no one by the looks of it. There might be one AI going a bit slowly, but Porcher then having a look for a run on Charles Leclerc back down in towards the first corner. Leclerc is having a nightmare early on. He took the lead on that one, and now he's just hemorrhaging positions in this Grand Prix. He's on mediums as well then. So that will explain why Charles Leclerc is struggling so badly. We need to try and move past the Ferrari car as quickly as possible as we head down through Curva Grande. We go round the outside of Charles Leclerc. Will it be a Grande move in towards the middle sector? We're going to try and send it. Leclerc though runs himself deep into the corner. We sweep round the outside though. Leclerc's going to try and come back at me off the turn as we head down into the first Lesmo. But softer tyres, still I think an all-round quicker car than that Ferrari. Well, we run ourselves very, very deep though through the second part. Charles Leclerc surely now going to be able to get back past me as he opens up the DRS there. We're going to try and again give him a squeeze as we head down in towards the Ascari chicane. They were still going to be side by side later on the brakes, and we'll hang on firm for now. Teo Porcher now 1.6 up the road. Qualifying might have been our forte, but as we head into the GP there, Porcher 19.7 I think that was. We do a 19.2 New fastest lap of the Grand Prix there, and it's crazy to think that basically matches the time Kimi Raikkonen set all the way back in 2018. Now, I know, of course, Hamilton went quicker a couple of years later in the ever-dominant W11, wasn't it? But, yeah, we are definitely closing in on Pourchaire and Bottas there as Lando Norris. I mean, he's 90-odd points back behind George Russell. It might be a tall order for him to do a championship challenge, but I'm sure a win here wouldn't do him any disservice either. Here we go then. Teo Pourchaire as we head on to lap 7. He's still going to be tucked up behind Bottas in this Grand Prix, but our top end speed, look at that, 225 miles an hour as Bottas going to swing defensive from the Red Bull, but not going to be able to defend. Oh, Pourchaire though locks up in towards turn 1. We have to absolutely slam on the brakes there to make sure we didn't run into the back of either of them and potentially pick up some front wing damage, but big mistake there from Pourchaire. He still claims the move, but Bottas and McLaren surely won't happy about that one. I think Bottas might be starting to struggle just a little bit in this GP as Pourchaire there tries to just pull away a few extra tenths. Can we get a good run at the final corner on the McLaren? Of course, we've just got to use so much battery around this venue, but we are going to get a run on Bottas. But surely now the DRS has been enabled, he might be able to get a run on Pourchaire then as we head back down in towards the first corner. Are we going to be close enough to send it on the Frenchman? Yes, we are. Are we going to get a double overtake in towards Salmon there? Clear cut on our former teammate there. Even Bottas is going to get him as well. So Teo Pourchaire surely won't be happy with that one, but nowhere near as aggressive as the move he pulled off. Lando Norris, though, already with a 3-second lead in this GP on just lap 8. Well, the gap to Lando Norris has started coming down just a little bit, but we need to pit at the end of this lap here. We're only lap 9 in this Grand Prix. The tyres definitely starting to fall off, but I think the Alpine has got similar issues as we wind our way through the final corner. Will we see Lando Norris into the pit lane? Yes, we will. Nice and aggressive on the pit entry there. Just make sure that maybe there's a slim chance that we can get in the way of the Alpine as he tries to head back out of the box then. But Charles Leclerc stays out. Bottas stays out. Teo Pourchaire, I think, has stayed out as well. So there are plenty of cars staying out in this GP, as I think we held up Norris ever so slightly. Come on, get out of the pit lane as quickly as possible there. Where are we going to re-emerge in this race? Oh, we're going to come out right with these Alfa Romeos. Oh, this is not going to do us any favours. There goes Tictum Drugovic and even Albon and Daruvala as we head back down in towards the first turn. So now we've got to try and get these tyres up to temperature, but we can see Lando Norris just a little way up the road. Luckily for me, Bottas has boxed then in this Grand Prix, so that must have been George Russell that was applying pressure to Teo Pourchaire. But now, yeah, Lando Norris has got a big opportunity just to try and pull away slightly, as we've got to try and navigate all these slower cars. First one, though, is going to be Jehan Daruvala, and luckily these backmarker cars still don't have particularly great top-end speed. Will Daruvala try and keep the nose up the inside into Ascari? No, I think he sees how pointless an escapade that was and just lifts out of it in towards the corner. Team happy with the overtake as well, but more cars into the pit lane then, as we really got to try and pick off these other three as soon as possible. They're breaking down in towards the final corner. Look how slow Albon's got to take it. Of course, I know he's on older tyres as well, but look at how quick we're just able to move past the Williams there. I think they are the weakest car this weekend, as luckily we'll stay out ahead of all those other cars that have gone one lap longer. But Tictum now getting jumped by Drugovic in towards one there. Oh, contact between Tictum and Felipe Drugovic, as I think the Alfa Romeo just struggling to position himself in towards that first corner. But you can already see how much Lando Norris has been able to pull away. Are we going to be able to get a run on the Alfa Romeo? Of course, Italian flag on the rear wing. Oh, Tictum, he's an aggressive defender. He sent it on Felipe Drugovic there. What on earth was that by Dan Tictum, as will somehow go down the middle between them off the corner, but Dan Tictum completely upset the rhythm of everyone there. We will make it through. The gap to Lando, though, is up to 5 seconds. But I guess now we've kind of just got to go in hot pursuit of that that Alpine even, sorry. Of course, still sometimes get muddled up with who's where, but we're only on lap 11 of this race. We've got a long way to go. But 5 seconds around Monza is a big old margin. There we go. Teo Pourchaire into the pit lane. P7 once again, and already a few tenths taken out of Lando. Oh, 18.7, new fastest lap of the day there, as Norris now trying to get past Oscar Piastri in this Grand Prix, so looks like he won't even get the move done. Of course, they will be McLaren teammates in 2023. But Lando Norris has to sit back for now. Well, I don't quite know how Lando has struggled to get around Oscar Piastri so much this lap, but the gap now is back down to a second between myself and the Alpine as George Russell into the pit lane as well. Then Norris does swoop round. We won't get the DRS off Oscar Piastri, but it will peel into the pit lane then. So looks like as we get into the second half of this race, what on earth is the strategy Leclerc and Russell are doing? That is so badly choreographed, so it has given us a big lifeline. Of course, the gap between myself and George, 21 points heading into this weekend. That looks at the moment like it could come down once more. In fact, though, they have overcut their way into P4. Far more importantly than that, though, we have got a big battle on our hands. Of course, not the first time we battled Lando Norris this year. Silverstone, the Battle of the Brits that weekend, but I mean, we've got scores to settle here against this Alpine driver. You know, he has probably been one of the stars of this season down at Alpine. You know, it has been a real turn of form for that organisation there. And look how much Lando Norris wants to squeeze me out as we head through the final corner. But surely we didn't have the pace on Saturday, but come Sunday here from Monza, we are going to sweep through, activate the DRS as well. And look at the acceleration we've got as we head back down towards turn 1. 222 miles an hour. It's about, what, 360 kph there or thereabouts? My maths hasn't failed me. And we are through into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Things have really gone our way for a big part this afternoon. We haven't had it all easy, and we're still a long old way from home. I wonder if Lando Norris has got a small issue on that Alpine, because he is dropping back actually rather rapidly. Already up over 1 second in just a sector. Either that or we are really flying. So yeah, Lando Norris, he's going to lose the DRS there pretty much immediately as we go purple sector 1, purple in sector 2. Are we going to be able to get another new fastest lap of the day on the board? Let's wait and see as we round our way through the final corner. It could be that the bonus points are critical in this season, but out of the final turn up towards the line, a bit of a wobble. 18.4. You cannot compete with that, Lando Norris. Ooh, yeah, Gasly out of the Grand Prix. I'm guessing that's a mechanical failure, but not a weekend for Mercedes. Really not been a year for Mercedes. It's not really been a career mode for Mercedes, truth be told. Well, having a look then from Pierre Gasly's car as we head down in towards the final corner. Yep, that looks to be another Mercedes power unit that has gone bang as we head down in towards the Ascari hairpin there. And yeah, I mean, Pierre Gasly, it has really not been the year so far for him down at Mercedes there, as he actually gets in the way of one of the AlphaTauri cars as well. But Gasly out here of the Italian GP. Well, as we round the final corner then to start lap 20 of this GP, it really has been a weird one from Monza. Saturday, no pace, no confidence whatsoever. I nailed that final lap. That was genuinely about half a second up on anything I'd done in qualifying. And then, I mean, we get into the race. Bit of a difficult start there. And since then, we've just never looked back. Don't know what on earth's happened, but clearly the car has come alive there. Whether all the AI just ran too low wings and then over race distances they're struggling to try and get the tyres of the rotation through the corners. But we're just waltzing away from Lando Norris here. I do apologise, it might not be the most dramatic end to a My Team career mode race, but bigger picture, of course, we need to continue taking points out of George Russell. I think he's still locked into a battle. Hopefully I'm trying to get you guys some camera angles from that as well, but 7 laps to go here from Monza. We're just sitting pretty. More yellow flags out, lap 22. We head our way through Ascari. I think it's a back marker going slowly. Yes, it is. Is that... Oh, it's one of the Aston Martins. Kevin Magnussen looks like he's got a puncture. What's happened there? Let's see them riding with Kevin Magnussen. What's gone on as he heads down in towards the Ascari chicane? You can see he has got teammate Lance Stroll just in front of him. And as he heads over the curbing, I think that rear tyre's just gone on him. Yeah, it certainly has. It looks like he's moving around on the rim. So disappointment for Kevin Magnussen then here in the Italian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, you can't get a very good look at it. But Magnussen out then of this, well, not quite out, but a puncture. As we fly past him, you can just see on the cameras. Yeah, K-Mag, very, very disappointing. That's pretty much him out. Thank you very much, Lance Stroll. Just peels out the way through the middle sector there between the two Lesmos. But yeah, 2 laps to go. It really hasn't been an eventful second half of this GP for us, but hopefully you guys don't mind that when we're running up where we are. 2 laps to go then. Mick Schumacher now will peel out of the way. And I mean, we lapped these cars not that long ago. Of course, I know they lose a fair bit of time during a pit stop on F122, but literally, Jan Laruvalo, we overtook him around the outside of Ascari, what, 12, 13 laps ago? Might have been a little bit more than that. We've literally gone from being a pit stop ahead of them to lapping them in the second half of this GP. I've never known a car come so alive on a set of tyres there. The fact we were able to run pretty consistently in the high 18s, only a second off my qualifying time on a one-step harder compounded tyres in race trim. It's absolutely mental. I cannot explain it this weekend, but yeah, we're still looking good as we head our way through Ascari. One more lap to go. Oh, Esteban Ocon. Ocon's got issues onto the final lap of this Grand Prix, so there was definitely an issue with that Alpine car. Then perhaps he's been trying to nurse it in the second half of this Grand Prix, but Ocon's going slowly. What has happened to the Alpine in the final lap of this GP? And let's have a look then. Esteban Ocon as he heads down in towards Ascari there. You can see the power unit's already gone on the downshift. And Lando Norris, he's been fantastic all afternoon, but it's going to amount to nothing there. You can see a huge puff of smoke as Charles Leclerc comes out of the chicane behind him there. Ferrari up to P2. I'm sure they'll be celebrating. But Lando Norris and Alpine, another heartbreaking end to a weekend. Heartbreaking for Lando Norris, though, late on in the day here from Monza. I cannot believe that. With one lap to go, the engine has gone up, and it was going to be P2 pretty comfortably for Lando Norris, but clearly Alpine saw something, told him to back off, otherwise it wouldn't make it, and it's not going to, and that's going to leave us with an even more dominant finish here at the Temple of Speed, 21 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. I must admit, he's probably not had the best strategy called by Ferrari today, but it is Ferrari. Would we expect any different? But it's a bit like buses, apparently, in the My Team career mode. We don't get a win in ages, and suddenly two come along in a row. We have had a fantastic week on the channel across all of the videos, but in towards the final corner, we're going to take the win here at the Italian Grand Prix. It's often been a track of highs and lows for us, but today, it is the highest of highs, and more points taken out of George.
Fantastic drive, that's just fantastic, amazing, you deserve that race win, well done, mate.
They made great use of the clear air today and didn't allow anyone to exploit the slipstream behind them. What a great win here at Monza. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest? Welcome then to the podium, our top three drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race. So let's review the updated driver standings. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Italian GP, and 20 seconds clear of Charles Leclerc come the checkered flag there. Like I said, I'm genuinely lost as to where we found that pace during the second half of the afternoon there. But Charles P2 ahead of Perez there. George Russell down in P4 means in the last two Grand Prix, that's what, 32 points taken out of our teammate here. The title fight is back on. We've not given up to this point. I cannot wait for about 5 engine failures in the last 6 GPs there. Pourchaire beats out Bottas, Ocon, Zhou Guanyu, Ricciardo and Latifi does pick up the final points paying position there with both AlphaTauris their home GP just missing out. Lando Norris classified but didn't make it to the flag. Pierre Gasly as well out of the Grand Prix. And that means championship-wise, 7 points between myself and George Russell there. That DNF basically does take Lando Norris completely out of any slim hopes he had of a championship charge there. Charles Leclerc now ahead of Perez. They're tied on 159 points. Esteban Ocon down to P6 are on 149, just 3 ahead of Teo Porcher. And are we going to see Bottas potentially still get into that fight for P3 overall as well? No other movers though further down in the Drivers' Championship. Constructors wise though, it is all but guaranteed now for ourselves. Their 216 points is all but a 5-race 5-1-2 weekend points haul there. We need 220, I think, and with 6 races to go, we could theoretically, no, we couldn't mathematically lock it out next weekend in Singapore, but we could get very, very close. I think, like I said, it's a case of when rather than if at this stage of the campaign. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back very, very soon with more of the F122 My Team Career Mode. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.